going on, everyone? My name is DJ Moose, and I'm here to start off this video blog build of the Hughes H-1 Racer version 2 from Maxford, USA. Just a quick introduction. I've been flying RC and building RC airplanes for about 20 years now, and I would tell people that I didn't enjoy the building process. I was all about flying. I'm still all about flying, but I think it's time to kind of use everything I've learned to, instead of being reactive to an airframe, to let's start planning things out before we're building, as we're building, to make sure the airframe is solid and flies good and promotes an enjoyable experience. Now, this airframe is unique, I think, because if you're like me and you're always, looking for the new airframes coming out, what's the next airplane I'm going to buy, you've had to have gone through and checked Maxford USA. And Maxford is really cool because they offer a lot of unique ARFs. So not only a few Golden Age racers, they have their smaller GB that's really popular. They had that Northrop Grumman plane for a while, but they also have a lot of World War I aircraft that you don't see often. And on top of that, they even have some really weird planes. Like, I think they have this Hawkeye, which I've never seen modeled before. They have this big C-130 in the Blue Angels theme. So I got to give a lot of credit to Maxford USA for coming up with really unique models. But the problem is that it seems like Maxford just isn't that popular. You don't see these models out and about everywhere. I've never seen one of these Hughes H1s anywhere, and I've been to a lot of flying events over the years. I've seen a lot of people's airplanes. It was on sale once a few years ago. I actually bought it, I think 2.5 years ago, and it sat in the box. I had it shipped directly to Austintown Hobby, and it sat there in the shop for over a year. And I finally went and picked it up and brought it home, and then it sat here in my basement for over a year. And this year, I really got to fly a lot and kind of got rejuvenated a little bit with the hobby. And I wanted to plan out exactly what I was going to do this winter, this off season. And I figured this would be a good time to build the H1. Now, I had previously always looked at Maxford's H1 to think it's probably not going to be a good flyer. It was the original version, 40-inch wingspan. There was a lot of press about it. There was a Model Aviation article, Fly RC. Those are all linked on the product page. The version 2 is slightly bigger, 50 inches. And I remember talking to the owner of Maxford at one of the Toledo shows, and I said, can't you just please build like a 63-inch version of the H1? And this was before the version 2 came out, and he was like keep your eyes out. Now, this new one's 50-inch, not quite what I wanted, but it was on sale once and I grabbed it. And it's spec'd for a 4S motor with cutouts for sub-micro servos. So many of us would call a sub-micro servo technically like a 9-gram servo. But so I always thought, okay, it's still a little bit bigger, kind of a so-so power system, small servos. I don't know how fun that, this is a racer, and it's not really going to be fun flying it around on 3S or 4S. So I bought it anyway, and it's just been hanging out. So now we're going to use the Extreme Flight 3520 Extreme Flight motor, which is cool. And going to probably start off with a 9-to-5 prop, just to kind of get everything situated and, trimmed out, make sure it's flying good. And then, maybe try a 9.9 prop and see how fast we can get this thing to go. If we look at the fuselage, I can guarantee you this airframe was not built to fly at 130 miles an hour. But we're going to use that power system on here, and I'm going to try to beef it up and make changes as needed. And, I'm not a speed demon. I don't need to go, for full bore, but this is the Hughes H1. It broke some records in its time. That's what this is popular for, so maybe we can get it up going that fast. So that's kind of like my goal here. One cool thing about this, you can see there's this motor box. Like I said, Maxford recommends their 4S motor, but you can use any motor because you mount the motor and then you can adjust the spacing here, put the cowl on, and then you would have to glue it on for a permanent mount. So that's pretty neat. The other thing I wanted to show you is that we talked about the sub-micro servo cutouts. And so that's kind of a limitation because, you know, a plane going 100 miles an hour needs some quality servos. And so we're not going to be using, you know, HS45s, which is what a lot of people use, or, you know, cheap HXT 900s, those 9-gram servos. We're going to be going, and I've never used these servos before, but Pro Modeler servos, and they make some really cool sub-micro servos. So this is the one we're going to use on the elevator, and I know it's not going to be in focus, but this is the DS145CL, full aluminum case, high voltage, 145 grams of torque. So this will be a pretty nice sub-micro servo, 26 grams it weighs for the elevator. And then for the ailerons and the rudder, we have the Pro Modeler. Which one is this? This is the DS105CL HV, so not quite all aluminum, but it has an aluminum heatsink and some, the rest of it is resin or plastic. And it's also high voltage, so that should be fun. So we're going to start off with some really nice high quality servos. I'm going to go through the whole fuselage with glue, make sure it's all reinforced well. We're going to seal all the hinge gaps. We're going to change the hardware for the elevator servo just to make sure everything is nice and solid. So hey, thanks for tuning in. And you know, if I can create some content for this Hughes H-1 to give some people you know, baseline of what to expect if they buy, you know, this ARF, that's pretty cool, and we can have some fun along the way. So expect, you know, a few videos every once in a while as I do more progress. I wanted to kind of get a beginning before I've done anything shot, and I'll regularly post back with what I've done, and then this will culminate with a few flying videos, hopefully. That won't be until the spring, but we're going to take our time and do this right and try to get the most out of this model. You know, at first I always thought, you know, this was going to be a kind of a so-so model to fly, and sometimes you buy a model just to look at it. And so I figured, you know, this winter would be a good time to put in the work to make it as good as possible. And, you know, maybe it might not work out, might not fly good. All the reports from the first version say it flew really well. So I don't think it's necessarily going to fly that. It has a nice wide stance for the landing gear, so I don't think ground handling will be too bad. But we'll see. You know, this is an adventure, and we'll put the effort in to make it as good as possible, and we'll keep you guys updated on how it goes. So keep tuned in, and I'll be back with some more progress on the Maxford USA Hughes H-1 version 2. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.